Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to look at Yushino. Now, if this looks somewhat familiar to you, well, you wouldn't be wrong. I mean, you've got your board, your racks here, you've got your tiles. Looks a lot like Scrabble. Well, it plays a lot like Scrabble, except you'll be using numbers instead of letters. Get more into that in a minute. This is a 2 to 4 player game for ages 8 and up. Now, there's no playtime listed on the box, but I want to say 45 minutes to an hour. So, with that said, let's take a look at how Yushino plays, and we'll go from there. Okay, now here's a quick look at the components. You've got your tile racks over here, you've got your number tiles over here. They range between 0 and 9. Finally, you've got your board. As you can see, it's reminiscent of a Scrabble board, and even got some bonus spaces. This 2, for example, with an asterisk, whatever, next to it, or star, however you want to say it, is the equivalent of your double letter score, only instead, in this case, it'll double the number value. In the 2x spaces and the 3x spaces, that is the equivalent of your word score, in which case you'll score 2 or 3 times whatever the total play is worth. Now, to set up the game, each player will draw 1 tile from the bag, and the person with the highest value will get to go first. If you happen to draw a blank or a wild tile, then that trumps everything else, and that player will get to go first. After that, each player will draw 7 tiles from the bag to place into their own personal tile rack. Now, on a player's turn, they'll attempt to play tiles from their rack in order to score as much as they can. And to do that, they'll need to play a valid Yushino sequence. Now, there's a few different ways you can do that. The first way is just to create a sequence of 2 numbers, but they have to be in sequential order. So, for example, 3 and 4 would be a valid play, or maybe 0 and 1. Or possibly 2 and 3. So those would be valid Yushino sequences. If you want to play more than 2 numbers, you'll have to sum the first 2 so that it comes up to the value of the 3rd tile. So just to give you an example of that, let's see, 1, 2, and 3. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, so that is a valid Yushino sequence. Let's do this one, 3 and 4. The next one would have to be 7, because 3 plus 4 is 7. Now, let's say you want to take that a step further. You'll have to add the next 2 numbers in that sequence, the 4 and the 7. You come up with 11. Now, the way this game works, instead of putting an 11 over here, you only use the last number of the sum. So in that case, it's just 1. So you'd put a 1 here. And if you want to take this a step further, 7 plus 1 is equal to what? Well, 8. So there you go. And if you want to take that a step further, 1 plus 8 is equal to 9. So if I can find the 9 in here, there we go. And if I want to take that a step further, 8 plus 9 is 17. You take the last digit of that sum, which is a 7. So you need to find a 7 in your tile rack, which doesn't look like I have out handy. So that would probably just end my turn. And what you would do from here is you would count up the values to get your score, taking into consideration any of the bonus tiles that you happen, or the bonus spaces you happen to be on. Now, you'll always do your double number first, these individual blue and these individual green ones first. You'll add those up, take them into consideration, then you'll take your double sequence or triple sequence into consideration when you're scoring. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15, plus 8 is 23, and then finally 32. So this player would earn 32 points. However, they are sitting on a 2x space. So 32 times 2 is 64. This sequence would earn that player 64 points. It's worth noting that for the first play of the game, they must utilize the center space in some way. After a player is done scoring their Yushino sequence, they'll go ahead and take tiles from the bag so that they have 7 tiles back into their rack again, just like in Scrabble. I'm going to be saying that a lot. So after that, the next player in clockwise order will go, and let's just do another round here just to show you what the scoring looks like again. Let's do a 2 here, and 2 plus 4 is 6, so we'll need to play a 6. And then if he wants to continue, 4 plus 6 is 10. So in that, you'd put a 0 here. 6 plus 0 is 6, and so 6 here. And you'll end up just repeating that. 0 plus 6 is 6. So we need another 6 from the bag, which it doesn't look like I have out handy. So let's just say that would end their turn. Now again, before they consider any 2x or 3x spaces, they have to take any double or triple number into consideration. So you've got a 2 with an asterisk here. So this is actually 4. And you've got 4, which is a regular, so that's 8. This 6 doubles, so that's 12. So 8 plus 12 is 20. And then you've got this 0 here, it's still 20. And then finally 26. So this particular Yushino sequence would score 26 points. Some other miscellaneous things worth mentioning. The blank tile is worth 0 points. If you happen to play all 7 tiles on your turn, you score an additional 100 points. And finally, you can pass on your turn if you want instead of playing. That just simply involves you exchanging some or all of the tiles in your tile rack with new ones from the bag. Now this will continue around the table until one player plays their last tile and there's no more tiles with which to draw from the bag. When that happens, the player that went out will take a look at all of the other tile racks and add up the values of whatever's left over. And that'll be sort of like a separate subtotal. And what they'll do is they'll take their total that they've accrued throughout the entire game, add that separate subtotal in, and that'll be their final score. After that, each player will compare their final score, and whoever has the most wins. Now, the game end could also come about if each player happens to pass during the same round, in which case they'll just simply tally their scores, and whoever has the most points wins. And there you have it, a quick look at Yushino. Now, I didn't cover all of the rules listed in the manual, but this should just give you a nice general overview as far as whether or not you'd like to pick it up. If you'd like to check out my full review, you can do so at www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.